What's up, y'all? It's Jabbar Lewis. We have a dope interview going on with my boy, David Duane. Check it out.
You can do everything at once, but you gotta have like great organization skills. And
It requires so much focus. Like, it's just being like, nah, I can't do this because I have to get this done. And that's hard, being especially like in LA. It's like always something to do. It's always you're getting pulled in this direction, that direction. So it's hard. It's hard. It's tough.
So how have you yourself been able to navigate that being you're 9, which is incredible at 17? Like how do you navigate and manage your expectations in your day?
I think 2023, I just made the intention to be like,
Come on,
I
attention.
need structure. That word is like my number one word for this year. It's like, I need structure. I need to be like, I got to get this done by this, by that, because I felt like I was kind of lax in that area of like, I'll get it done when I get it done versus no, let's actually focus on that, get it done, go on to the next thing. Like I started journaling more. I started just writing calendar stuff, like making sure things are on my calendar because it'll just organize me is a little bit better than throwaway me. Like the mental notes, I can't do that no more. Like if it's not on the calendar, I probably will forget and it probably won't happen. So like now I have to schedule stuff like that. And I think I'm trying something new. In the past few days, I just been feeling like my best self.
And I feel like that's important, what you said, like actually writing it down. And I feel like us being from the East Coast, the Northeast, tri state area,
Right.
we have such a different mentality and we're very quick. So even if we do have something mentally up here, we have to have it written down here, here, here. It's got to be on the phone. It's got to be on the computer because we will forget.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
So 17 coming to LA, how was that transition? Because you came to go to college, right? For college, what did you study?
Acting. Like
Okay.
I just always knew I wanted to do that. I did it in high school. Like that was my major in high school. I could say like the thing that I wanted to do. I just always knew I wanted to come to LA. So when I came here, like I said, I was 17, and my mom, she just made sure I got settled in school. But in school, I always knew like school wasn't for me. Even in high school,
Right.
even in middle school, like I did not like school. I'm not like I was a bad kid or anything. But school just wasn't for me. Like I didn't think like testing was making me a better student or like defining my character in something. I just knew I needed to pass. I needed to get through it. So when I went to the school, it was like I'm here, but thank God, like my acting teacher back in high school used to always say to me, "You're learning college level techniques and stuff. Like this is college level stuff." So then when I actually got to the school, I was like, I'm not learning anything. I'm just like redoing the things that I used to do in high school, and that kind of was like very annoying to me because then you had other people who were just learning these things, and I'm feeling like, is there like the accelerated version of this? But mind you, it's money, it's college, so we're spending $40,000 a year on tuition, and in between that, I was like, I'm signing up for casting profiles, actors access, LA casting and stuff like that while I'm in school. That was forbidden too. It was like don't do that because they're like you're a reflection of us. Like putting the school on our resumes or saying we're retrained, you're a reflection of us. So if you go in there and you bomb an audition, they're gonna look at our school like no. But I'm like, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about
Right.
me, so
So you would put the school down with
on
them?
my resume. Like
Really?
I would be like
Initially.
underneath training, I would put like, oh, I'm going for my BFA in acting,
Right.
and
That
that's
makes
the school I go to. So yeah, that's what I was doing. But I was also submitting for jobs. I was also just submitting to agencies. Well, not even submitting to agency. My first agent came to me just by seeing my headshot and was like, "Oh, we're looking for your type. Can you come in audition?" So that's how it was.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What were the moments that you knew coming to LA that acting was definitely something that you wanted to do? Like, what were some of those experiences for those who don't personally know you? Because, everybody is now getting to know you
Right.
from the TikTok content, from the movie with Will Smith that's out,
Mm-hmm.
and, just with everything that you've been putting out there for people to see.
I think I just always knew it. Like even before coming to LA, I was like watching TV. I always give credit to Raven. Like that's a Raven.
Oh,
Just used to watch that show and used to be like, first off, brilliant acting, brilliant storytelling, beautiful stories, but also like I want to do that. I can do that, and I just always knew that. So then coming to LA, it was like I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I used to watch YouTube videos, any video I used to see like panels. Just I used to always look up like how to what's like your first audition, like what to expect, like things
right,
like
doing
that.
that, doing that research.
Little
Yeah.
research that I can find on and backstage. I used to give so much credit to that. Reading those articles, I still sometimes go back to just read the articles that they write up and advice and stuff like that. But I just always knew I wanted to do it. Always, always, always. I remember the first time that I think that when a bug hit me was like I was reading Romeo and Juliet in my freshman year of high school,
Classic.
and my teacher was like, she's an English teacher. She was like, "You're really good. Like maybe you should join the drama club." And that's when I started taking it really seriously. But I just always knew arts was it.
That's amazing. And we were talking before we got started because we're now recent friends
Right.
in the LA scene together.
Mhm.
Finding your tribe, because finding your tribe here is so much different than finding it back home. I feel like back home, it's like okay, boom, boom, boom. Here it's just like okay, I gotta make it in routes.
Yeah.
How difficult was that for you, or did you not find it difficult at all because you kind of had friends like with school, and you have some friends that might have already have been here as well too.
So when I first came here, most of my friends were people from school. So that's where I kind of found, my few individual friends that I'm like, oh, we can hang out and stuff. I say I found so many gems and so many people at that during that time where I still talk to today, but most of my closest friends are people that I just met within like the past 2 years.
Nice.
Like, and which is crazy because like once again I'm on my ninth year, but like those are the people I'm like, you're gonna be in my life for a minute. I can feel that energy. And I guess I kind of felt that in the beginning as well. But I think school allows you to meet people and like just find friendship and
Yeah.
kinship and things that you want to do.
And know what you like, what you don't like.
Right. Exactly.
Because I tell people, for me, because I went to military school for high school,
Mm.
I tell people that's a damn psychology class,
Mm.
expensive one.
Yeah.
Different personalities, different races, people
Yeah.
like this, people like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think just as older, the older I got was where I found what I liked, what I don't like, what I want, what I don't want, and then that gave me the discernment to be like, these are the people who I want around me versus who I'm tolerating, or just because I'm around you so much, that means you have to stay in my life or be in my life.
Right.
So it's just like I think genuine. I think everyone knows when you find genuine people in your life that it's not about what you do for me or what I do for you, but more so, do we want to see each other win and how can we help each other? And that's the people that are in my life now.
And I think that that's what makes a really good friendship and just relationships as a whole. Wanting to see people win
Mhm.
versus wanting to see people fail. And there's a lot of people that have that mindset of, oh, I want to do it for myself, I want to do it for myself, I want to do it for, and they want to take all the opportunities. But there's so many opportunities
Mhm.
for everybody.
Yeah.
If everybody knows how to stay in their lane, and even if you want to try new things, go ahead and try it. Don't be afraid.
Right.
How do you feel when you see people that are basically essentially haters?
Thank God I don't deal with a lot of haters.
Mm.
I don't deal well, not upfront. Like
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's like, oh, this person doesn't like me. Like I don't know anybody like that because I don't put that energy out. I don't
Right.
give anyone any reason to necessarily hate on me or anything. Mind you, some people probably envious or whatever.
Right.
But and I had those feelings before. I remember having envy towards my peers or friends because they would book something over me or
Yeah.
whatever, and just seeing them kind of accelerate faster than I did. But that wasn't necessarily hating. It was more so envy and like
Because
being
we
like,
see a
"I'm gonna get
lot
there."
of that early on
Yes.
in one's career, whether they're in acting, or they're singing, or they're in photography, or when they make certain breaks and stuff like that.
Right.
People start to show their true colors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, wait a minute. There's more opportunity for everybody to
Right.
go around.
Right. And I think that's why I kind of make it like I emphasize on that. Like we don't have to compete. There's no competition here.
None.
I'm here to help everyone. If I get an opportunity to put my friends on or put other people I see working and grinding, I'm gonna do that. So there's no reason to feel like, I need to one up this person. It's not that anymore.
Yeah, because I feel like wanting up doesn't do anything but make you look like an ass.
It's so rooted in ego and pride versus, what God intended,
I think that ego is crazy. And you mentioned God.
Yeah.
We love God. God is so amazing. Your love for God in faith, how important is that to keep at the full center of everything that you do in your walk of life? I know that there are probably individuals that aren't believers, but there are a lot of believers that do watch us and that follow us on socials and that are inspired by the things that young black creatives, black men, young men are doing. So how important is keeping your faith?
Um, what's crazy is that I didn't grow up in a church. Like I wasn't someone who was dragged to church every Sunday or made that something a part of my life.
Right.
I started doing that maybe early in high school. I would go to my grandparents. They're like, "We're going to church Sunday," and I just see them like tithe and like they'll give me like $3 to put in the basket when it came around. So that kind of gave me the sense of what church is. I had to grow my own relationship with God out here.
Yeah.
And I just needed to like really build something. I remember it went through a time where I used to be on Twitter so often and would see threads of like people questioning God and questioning his existence, and I used to read it like, oh, they're kind of making sense. And it used to skew my vision of what God was. But I know I had to learn that God is so personal. There's nothing that anyone can say to change your view of God, of who you believe he is in your life. So I went through a period of time where I was just like, God is not at the forefront. I can do it all by myself. But that was the worst time of my life out here. It was a very dark period, and it wasn't for very long. It was a few months, but there wasn't a time where I wasn't booking. I wasn't happy necessarily. But now it's like I got baptized out here, and I just had to. I noticed when I would just lean into God, even in dark moments and even happy moments, all those moments, that I'll be good. And I'm just learning. And even now, like 2023, I'm making sure I wake up and the first thing I'm doing, as I always did, is pray, but like also going to my Bible app and just reading my devotionals like that. I'm making that just the number one priority for just the rest of my life now.
And it's such a good priority to make. I just started going to one recently. You go there as well too. And just how Pastor Teray, Sarah, Stephanie, Roosevelt, just how all of them just put God's word into perfect perspective. It just makes you want to even have such a stronger relationship with God, even if you didn't. And the messages that we've been receiving from Him that they're delivering have been so on point each and every Sunday. And I know just for myself, I'm just like, I don't know about y'all on the other side of this, but you can't tell me that God is not amazing, that He's not a working God, and that He can't do it for you because He does it for us, and He will continue to do it if you allow Him. Now He's dropping a bomb like that.
No, literally.
But literally, that's how it works. But you have to be willing to receive His word, to surrender, and to understand what it is He's trying to put here, and around you.
Yeah. It's like, what was that thing? One of the messages from last week was like the flesh and the spirit has to kind of be congruent and aligned together.
Right.
And it's like it's really mastering the spirit being the one leading the flesh and everything. So I don't know. It's. I think God is just so personal.
Yeah.
It's so personal. I don't try to convince people of God or what He does in my life. It's just like what you see is through God. So if you like what you see, know that. Give all the glory to God. That's it.
Because He touched it.
Yeah. That's it.
when you realize that he gives you everything and you acknowledge him, that's when it's all good.
Yes.
Because partnership is everything. And I think, I like that I just mentioned partnership. Because partnership is not just in friendships, right? It's in everything. It's in business. It is in your relationship with your parents. It's everything. Partnership for you when it comes to business, because we were starting to talk about that before the cameras were rolling, because we were just chatting.
Right.
And you've gone through the ringer of having different managers and different agents and just different team members, and you have a solid team now of good people. How is that process for you, just being able to adjust and figuring out what works for Jabbar and what does not work for Jabbar?
It's seasonal. Like, these things are like seasonal things. It's like this works for this. Like my first agent manager, I was with maybe the first 3, 4 years. Solid team.
Yeah.
But then you start aging up, you start changing, you look a little different, and you have conversations about what you want for your career. You start realizing your power, and this is your career at the end of the day, and these people you're working with, these people to accelerate your career,
Right.
and you start to have a voice. You start to be like, all right, so I don't no longer want to go out for 15-year-old roles. I don't know how to play a 15-year-old anymore. It's
You're like, I'm 22, Dan. What you want me to do?
that's what it is. And if their market is for kids and they have great relationships with Disney or Nick or something like that, those are the rooms that you can get into. But it's like I don't necessarily want to do that anymore. So where do we go from here? And if their market is not a little bit more expansive than that, then you're like, well, I have to figure out what I have to do to get to the next step. I need to figure out an agency who has more connections in the realms of like the TV shows that I watch. If I'm watching a specific show and I'm like, I want that TV show, and this person has a client that goes out for that office all the time, then yeah, I want to sign with you. I want to see what we can do in that area. But yeah, it's trial and tribulation. You realize what you want, what you don't want, or you realize that the relationships that you have. I feel like an agent and manager out here, it's really about the relationship. It's really like I want to I want to almost be your friend to arm's reach. You
Right, yeah.
I want it to be
And that way you can build an actual
right. And it's
relationship.
easy
Yeah.
to pitch, being like, "Yo, this person Jabbar, he just did this. He's that cool kid. We'll love to set up a meeting, whatever." It's more so like that versus being a client on a roster.
Right.
It's different. It's different than having a client on a roster versus someone you actually like, care about, and want to see win. And that's what you try to find in any team.
And I've learned that that's what takes time. You've got to go through not even what has this person done, but do they have the same vision that I have? Can I call them and say, this is not the one for me? Or even in doing that, right? Better yet, I changed my mind. I don't think that's a good fit. Let's put a pin in it. Let's find something else. And if they respond well, so they're like, okay, cool, that's a bet. I'm with it, and they see your vision just as good as you see it. That's the direction that you go.
That's the team you want.
That's the team that you want.
You feel it. You really do feel it. Yeah, it's you feel when people want to just see you win, even if you're not with them.
Right.
That's what you want in everybody, in any relationship. You know? Yeah.
So let's talk about working with Will Smith in this brand new film that's out.
Yeah.
Emancipation. How was it working with Will? Because he's such a legend. And he was like on your like bucket list of people to work with, right?
In 2014, maybe a month while I lived out here, first year of me living out here, but like a month after I arrived, I tweeted randomly, Will Smith is just like my top actor. I would love to work with him one day. Just tweeting it, just my thoughts, whatever. Not thinking that necessarily I'll work with him. It was just a random thing. And then you fast forward 7 years later and you're like, you actually get to work with him. But definitely an actor who I always looked up to, who my parents have DVDs, all of his movies and stuff like that. Like, things that
Come on,
you dream
DVDs,
of.
things that the kids don't even have anymore.
Lost thing.
They don't know what a DVD is. They don't know what the Blu-ray is.
Like,
do they?
literally.
Do they? I think they might sell the Blu-rays. Maybe not. Maybe not
They don't
DVD
know like a
players.
blockbuster.
No, not a blockbuster. Even though they just had that pop up,
Right.
which was so cool.
But like that's a part of my childhood, like going to
Mhm.
Blockbuster and get those DVDs and stuff like that.
Right.
But Will, a dream. He really showed me how to be a superstar. Really showed me like this is what it looks like. You know, we used to come on set every day, shaking every background performer's hand. Thank you so much for being out here. Thank you. Giving advice between takes. Like we'll be in the middle of a scene, cut, looking back at playback, we're just sitting there chilling, waiting for the next take. People are asking him like, Will, like, what do I need to do to be a big actor? Whatever. He'll give advice each time, and just really shows you how to be a superstar. And that's what I really take away. Is like I've never really worked with anyone that close, that big. So like to be so intimate and be so like I'm using my acting chops with your acting chops, and we get to have stories in between takes and all these things. I'm just like, oh, you operate a little different than what I'm used to,
Mm-hmm.
but it inspires.
And then what they say.
Yeah.
As well too.
Right.
There's always these misconceptions about these big stars, especially Will Smith. That's like y'all can say what y'all want, but he is a legend, and he has created such a blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
And we were actually talking about blueprints. I actually want to talk about figuring out what your blueprint was, because a lot of people like to say, follow this, follow that, go with this mode, but there's been situations where you've said no, we're gonna create this from fresh.
Yeah. There's no blueprint. That's the scary part. There's no blueprint to how far someone gets or how to get to a certain point. What I make it my mission to do is when I first came out here, I used to always Google and want to see like the actors I watched on TV and admire. I'm like, oh, he looks like me. Or I'm going out on the same auditions and I see them in the rooms and stuff like that. I used to look up on their YouTubes or look up on their Instagrams or Twitters and see if they give me advice like how to do this, how to do that. And there was never anything. I used to reach out to so many actors, so many different people, and they wouldn't respond or they didn't see it or whatever. And I make it known.
They left you on scene?
On Instagram back in the day, you couldn't see that. That's something new.
Right.
But they maybe left it on scene or they just didn't see it because they're a little bit more popular and booking a little bit more. Like maybe they, whatever the case was. But I make it my intention to be like, when I go out on auditions, here's what I didn't know that I wish I did know. Here's to make it a little bit more easier for the new actors or new whatever navigating the industry. It's like I wish I had that. So I make it really my goal to be like give the gems back. Sometimes I get in my head about I don't see my other acting peers do this, or I don't see people who are booking a little bit more, or just a little bit more established than me doing this. So is this the right path for me?
Right.
I kind of do that, but I'm like, no, if I'm serving people, which God tells you to do, then I'm good. I'm cool. I want to do this. This is what drives me, and this is the reason why I'm recording videos, and that is my purpose. And I always knew that. Even when I first moved out here, I used to record, I think it was months into me living out here, I used to be like, how to break into the industry. I'm not even in the industry yet. I just had an agent at the time and a manager, and I thought like I was hot commodity, but it was something that I always.
But you know what you were? You were one step closer. So you already had that feeling.
Yeah.
That a lot of people either are going to feel, or they're not going to feel it at all.
Yeah.
So you were bright ahead.
Looking back on it, that's why I'm like, oh, you was always on the right path. It just took you a minute to really stamp it. That's all.
And that's good, because a lot of people lose, track of like, damn, is this right for me? What's a fit? What's not a fit?
Right.
Kind of situation.
Right.
So it's been good that you've been able to figure that out. And then this new project that you have coming out later this month.
Yeah, All American Homecoming.
Wow. Dope stuff.
Yeah.
So you're doing you have a reoccurring role, right? Tell us about your role in that.
Yeah, I played Julian in there. He's a part of the frat. And initially it was just supposed to be this one one co-star role for the day, and I was the treasurer of the frat. And it turned, I went in there, did my job, did what I had to do, professional, nice to everybody, smiling, learning everybody's names and stuff like that. And I really think they loved. I never, they always say improv is like your best friend as an actor.
Right.
Like I took some classes of improv, but it's nothing like I've ever had to use it until this time. And I remember at the tape at the end of our scene, it kind of just like, once that line happens, it's supposed to just be cut. But the director came over to me. She was like, "Can you just like go a little bit more so it doesn't just fall flat when we're cutting and stuff?" I'm like, "All right, cool, awesome." So we do the scene, and I kind of just in my head, I'm like, "Okay, I know how to play up the class president or something, whatever I'm saying." And I kind of went on, and it went on for like 10, 15 seconds over. And she's in the back, she's in another room, and she said cut, but no one heard it. So the cameras are rolling. Everyone who was in the room, the camera guy, sound guy, me and my scene partner, and we're going and I'm recording and I kept going with the thing. I'm like, yo, sound your name, do this, you good. Like I was in the scene, I was in a moment and
Right.
using my improv skills, just being
You were like, I'm really in this.
I'm really in it. And she was like, she came in the room, she was like, oh no, I said cut, but like excellent. And everyone after that was just like, that's dope. Like you kept going and this is not in the script, this is nowhere written. You just
Did they keep it?
I don't know. So we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. But I think they were so impressed with just that professionalism and not so green. I used to get that all the time. Like, Jabbar's so great. He's a great actor, but he's a little green. I used to get that all the time. Casting directors would be like, Jabbar's so great. And he's great talent, so talented. But he's green. He needs to hone in a little bit more on the skills, the techniques. I was so theater. That's where I came from.
Right.
And then I had to hone into TV, film. Like you pick up on little things, and it took a long time. It took a long time to just get used to the different mediums of that.
Right.
That TV and film versus theater. It really did.
Would you want to get into more theater projects?
I can't wait to. Like, I miss the rehearsal process.
The rehearsal process is just wow.
It's different. It's different trying to perfect it, and then to actually just let go and just turn on the lights and you just press play and you go with the show. Like I love that. I love that we rehearse for 2 months and then we're putting on this show for an hour, 2 hours, and then you get to do it for a few days. Like I miss that. I miss dance rehearsals. I miss music rehearsals.
Come on, dance
like I just miss the tech, days and stuff like that. I miss all of that stuff. So I'm like, maybe one day when everything makes sense, hopefully I can do a musical. Hopefully I can do a drama. Like anything. I'm so down to go back into that realm when it makes sense.
It's coming.
From your mouth to God's ears.
It's coming. I believe it. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it for you.
Thank you.
What are some other things that we can look forward to in this new year, or just these new years to come? Because I know you want to do more content with the YouTube channel, TikTok. I mean, you've just been really creating such a great bulk of content socially. Yeah. What other things do you want to get into?
YouTube is definitely something that I've always wanted to focus on, hone in on. So I think I'm gonna make that really a priority to just focus on my niche. I think social media allows you to be like, oh, that works for that person, and you kind of want to follow that. You're like, I can do that too, versus what works for you, and like, I know what works for me, and I know what feels good to me. So I'm just gonna hone in on definitely YouTube content, definitely the TikToks and stuff like that, and just really be niche. To me, because I know there's people out there, I get it every day, messages like, you inspiring me, like, thank you for this, like, can I ask you this, can I ask you that? And I'm like, oh, that is the purpose, that's the purpose I'm serving. So I'm just gonna really hone on to that. But God willing, more auditions come up, more opportunities come to book more things. I want to really get into more films, like get into a leading role, because I feel like I've done so many supporting, so many just sitting in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And I know that I can lead a film. I know that that's where my skill level. I've been out here for so long that I've put in my 10,000 hours. I'm ready to step into the roles.
And what deserve.
Yes, thank you.
Of course, yeah.
And that's where I want to really focus on. But I'm fulfilled. I'm satisfied with what I'm doing now. I'm glad the Emancipation came out at a time I didn't know that when that was going to come out.
Because the filming for that was for a little bit, right?
Yeah. So we shot Emancipation we started in July of 2021, and I was there from July to the end of August, and then hurricane came, so it paused them, and then Will had to do a book tour, and it paused them again. So they kind of, I think it was like 7 months for them. 2 months for me, 7 months for them.
Wow.
So
They like, can we get the hell out of New Orleans?
literally,
One thing about down there, it's going when it rains,
it pours.
it pours.
Yes. After every time it would lightning, thunder, we had to stop for 30 minutes. Every time. So if 30 minutes and at the last 29th minute, if another lightning strike, another 30 minutes. So it was pushing us back every day.
Wow.
It was definitely a time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you came together.
Yeah.
Great project.
Thank
And Jabbar, let people know, oh, wait, I can't have you say socials yet. We got to ask our favorite question that we ask everybody. And aside from being an actor, being a man, being an entrepreneur, being all things that exemplify you, that's it right there. What exemplifies you as a person?
Really like leading where people want to, like, they long for somebody that looks like them and like somebody who they see as an inspiration. Like, I long to help. I long to just be like, I don't know, I'd like to bring God into it again. I just long to be a servant to God. And for me, it's like, in everything that I do, I just want people to see God in me. I want people to be like, the booking of Emancipation, the booking of All American Homecoming, like that is because I just waited for God. It was not my timing, it was God's timing. And this is, we have seasons. Like, everyone has their season of growth, of waiting seasons. Like, we all have that. So that that exemplifies me. That's like patience. Like, I'm just literally, that word is me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just be patient. It's gonna come as long as you keep going.
Right.
You know, just keep going. And it's so cliche to say, be like, just keep going.
But you have to.
You have to.
Because if you give up in what he's given to you,
Mm-hmm.
you're not doing yourself a disservice. You're not doing yourself a service at all. You're doing yourself a disservice,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only going to harm you.
Right.
But even if it does harm you and you lose yourself, you can always find yourself and get back to what it was.
Right.
I can't be dropping bars like that.
You can. And we can go all day with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Jabbar, let everybody know where they can follow you on socials, because they need to.
Mm.
Because you are a bright individual, a good friend of mine who I am so proud of. I'm so glad that we were able to do this, especially after the holidays, stuff like that. I had seen you do an interview on TikTok, and I was like, I knew it was already time for us to do an interview, but I was like, I gotta make sure in this new season, and not even just in this new season of this show, but just in this new season of life filled with growth, potential, and opportunity, that we needed to have a conversation
For sure.
for the show.
Yeah. Yeah. You can follow me everywhere at Jabbar Lewis. Twitter, Jabbar D Lewis. That's my middle name, Dante. And yeah, I just want to go hard. And just helping people. Just following the journey as I go along, because I'm not at a place where I want to be, but I'm at a place where I'm very fulfilled. It took me a minute to get here, and I feel like I worked for it, and nothing was handed to me, and I want to show people like you can get to this place too, and so yeah, follow me on everywhere. Social media is Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, the whole nine.
I gotta learn how to do TikTok.
TikTok is like trial and error. I think it's like posting what you want to post, and then seeing what gets the views and gets people engaged in the comments, and you're like, oh, okay, that works. Like, for me, I started posting random things that I like to do, and I'm like, okay, so people like my Get Ready With Me's, even though I'm like not a huge fan of Get Ready With Me's, but I'm like, I'm making niche to me. I'm making like, I'm going to church. This is what I'm wearing to church, or I'm going to set. This is what I've been doing to go to set. A lot of people like the advice that I give up there. So I'm like, I need to start honing in. It's just like posting until you see what works and what doesn't. And whatever. And I also am just like, forget the algorithm, forget the numbers. It's like, if you feel good about the content, if you like the content, post it. Someone else will. Even if it's one person, someone does.
And that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Forget it needs to be 10, it needs to be 1,000. Who cares?
Who cares?
Go with what you want to go with.
Right.
And speaking of advice, what advice do you have for those who already are in entertainment and they want to see themselves grow further?
Mm-hmm. To study, like to really, really study the craft. Like, I tell everybody all the time, it's like, pick somebody you want to model your career after. Pick somebody who looks like you and be like, oh, they did a really good job in this film. They did a really good job in this TV show. Kind of emulate that type of acting, because when you go up for that network show or you go up for that studio, you kind of see the direction they go in with how these people are acting in the show, how people are doing. That studying, watching TV and film shouldn't be about leisure and just ha 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 or crying or whatever.
Right.
You're taking
Actually taking in the
like
skill of what they're doing.
nuances, taking in nuances like that. It's so tough watching movies and TV shows now, because it's like, oh, that camera work was so good. I wonder how they did that, or what they tapped into to get to that
Do
emotion.
you ever have moments where you hate evaluating the technical aspect of things?
I hate it. It's not that I hate it. It's just sometimes I
It's
just
a
want
good
to go
thing.
to the movie theaters and just watch a movie and that's it. But
Like, damn it, they did. Oh, oh.
right. But
That's how I am with concerts. I'd be like, oh, come on, sound.
music, like
Mhm.
to go into music, like not to like self promote. Music has always been something that I've always wanted to get to, like just dive into, and
Where is your music?
it's like I put out a single last year at the beginning, which tomorrow makes a year since I pulled it out. Put out my single Bad Habits, and that was fun. It was just fun to do because it's something that I always longed for to get into. I feel like Beyonce is like my top inspiration for work ethic and just sound, and I hear things and
She's that girl, like she
she's
says.
that girl. It's like
I gotta get this.
it's so
I gotta
funny.
get
Like me and my boy Conrad will be in like the car and we'll just be like, you hear that? Like, and we'll do the same note, like a same run or riff, and we just laugh at little things. Like,
Right.
and I really want to get into it. I feel like I love supporting my friends who does music, and and really put themselves out there and just do that and goes into the studio, and it inspires me. I feel like acting has been the baby of like, I came out here to act, so I really want to get into that.
Right. You really
But
want
also,
to get that going.
sometimes I'll just write in my notes. I'll go on YouTube, find a beat, and be like, I want to write about this, and I'll do it. And I have so many things in my notes and my files that I'm just like, one day I'll record it and get it out there.
Record.
And that's
So have you been recording?
no, I haven't been recording.
Record.
I will. That like 2023. That's something that I just want to dive into, and just I want to hone the skill. I feel like before I do anything, I want to hone the skill. Can't wait to get a vocal coach and
Right.
just find where my voice sits and all that thing. Like I like doing it, but I just know I can be better at it.
For
And
sure.
That's where I think I'm gonna focus on before I just put out things. I'm gonna make sure it's good at
Mhm.
least before just throwing things out.
And it's good that you said vocal coach, because even myself with putting out music,
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with a vocal coach as well. So
Nice.
even when you are the best of the best,
You have vocal coaches.
you have vocal coaches. You
It's
have
an instrument.
God, you that's an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
The best ain't always the best if they not sharpening their tools. So it's like you gotta constantly work at to perfect that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just being like, oh yeah, I can kill an audition, but I'm not gonna, take any classes, or I'm not gonna take any dance classes,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get sack work.
Exactly.
You're gonna be milk.
No, literally.
Spoiled
Spoiled.
and not booked.
Right. Exactly.
So you have to stay at it with your craft.
Mm-hmm. It's a tool. It's an instrument. You got to keep tuning it. You got to be like, this works. This doesn't. Like even emotional recalling. There's a scene in Emancipation where it's really heavy. It was a night shoot, our only night shoot of the day, and it was really heavy scene. If you watch the movie, it's where we were all in a cage and the guy gets thrown in there, and I kind of go to him to touch him, and that scene, I was thinking about the emotional recall that I can go to get me to that place, and sometimes it always doesn't work. It's
Right.
like I need to find new ways all the time to be like, this affects me today. I can pull that from my tool belt. And it's
Mhm.
always about pulling things from your tool belt. Oh, this really affected me. Something in my real life affected me. Write it down. I think that's what actors are so crazy, is that we use our real life traumas, real life things that we're going through.
That's what makes it good.
Write it down, put it in my back pocket. I'm like, that's gonna be good one day. And it's really sad things, but this once again, it's honing, finding what works for you.
Mhm.
That's it.
And it's a part of that journaling too.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, journaling.
Come on, journaling.
It works.
It does. It does. Look back.